What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the podcast. It's your girl Zaria, and this is a space where we keep it real over here. We grow and we get closer to God together. Today's conversation, it might challenge you a little bit. It might even make you feel some type of way. But I want you to lean in, not lean out, because I have a question for you. What if everything we have been calling freedom isn't actually freedom? Let that sink in a little bit. What if the trips, the money, the cars, the going out, the image we have been chasing, what if that's not the thing that actually set us free? Hmm. Let that sink in a little bit. And listen, I'm not coming from a place of judgment. I'm coming from experience. I even had moments where I thought doing whatever I wanted meant I was free. Like, for real, I know y'all can relate. And whole time I was still bound in my mind. So today we are talking about real freedom, not the version the world sells us, but the version that actually gives you peace when nobody's watching. Let's get into it. Before we get deeper into this episode, I want to take a moment to shout out today's sponsor. This sponsor, this episode, I'm talking about this sponsor. This episode is brought to you by The Quiet Place. And no, not the movie. I'm talking about that intentional time you set aside with God. In a world full of noise, distractions, opinions, and pressure, sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is be still. Be still, for real. The quiet place is your reminder to unplug, open your Bible, sit in God's presence, and allow Him to speak to you personally. Because real clarity doesn't come from the crowd. It comes from connection. So if you have been feeling overwhelmed, confused, or just off, maybe it's time to step away and spend some real time with God. Now let's get back into the episode. Let's get it. So let's be honest. Most of us were taught that freedom looks like having options, like doing what you want, when you want, how you want, clubbing when you feel like it, booking trips whenever, having money in your bank account, driving nice cars, looking like you got it all together. And don't get me wrong, that stuff isn't bad. But here's the truth nobody really talks about. You can have all of that and still not be free. You hear me? Let me say that again. You can have all of that and still not be free. You can go on trips and still be anxious. You can have money and still be empty. You can even have people around you and still feel alone. I know because I have been there. There were times I thought I was living, times I thought I was doing me, having fun, enjoying life, but deep down something still felt off. Like I couldn't fully rest. I even, like, my mind wouldn't slow down. Like I was searching for something, but didn't even know what it was. And that's when God started showing me something real. Freedom isn't external. It's internal. Let me say it again. Freedom isn't external. It's internal. Real freedom is peace. It's okay even when things don't look how you want them to look. It's trusting God even when you can't even take that trip. Even when money is tight. Even when life feels uncertain. Because let's talk about it. Can you still trust God in a season where you don't have everything you want? That's real freedom. Because now your peace isn't based on your situation. It's based on your relationship with Him. Ooh, God. Man, that's deep right there. That's deep. That's deep. Thank you, Jesus. Wow. And that hit me differently, for real. Another thing, like, real freedom is forgiveness. And I know that's the part people don't like. It's hard for us to forgive somebody that hurt us. It's hard. But it's easy to love people when they treat you right. But what about when they talk about you, when they judge you, when they look down on you because you don't have what they have? Can you still love them? Can you still show up with kindness? can you still show up with kindness and love? Now that's freedom. Because now you're not controlled by bitterness. You're not stuck in offense. You're not carrying weight that God never asked you to carry. Wow. That was wow. Yeah, that's facts though. We don't carry weight that God never called us to carry. Why was he carrying weight that God never called us to carry? Because we lean on our own understanding. And let me be real with you. Forgiveness doesn't mean it didn't hurt. It just means you are choosing not to stay stuck in it. That's freedom. And there's this part, letting go. Woo! Letting go can be hard, I know. Letting go of what no longer serves you, old habits, old mindsets, old versions of yourself, that's not easy at all. Because sometimes we hold on to things that are familiar, even if they are not healthy. But God can't feel his hands that are already full. But God cannot feel his hands that are already full. So if we want what's meant for us, we have to release what's not meant for us. So if we want what's meant for us, we have to release what's not meant for us. And that takes a different kind of strength. It's a process. A quiet strength. It's a process. A surrendered strength. A process. And all of this, and all of it, points back to one thing: Jesus. Because real freedom is not found in things. It's found in him. Knowing that you have Jesus in your heart, knowing that he's guiding your steps, knowing that even when life doesn't make sense, you're still covered. Covered. It's something about the name Jesus. That's freedom. That's the kind of freedom that doesn't fade. That doesn't depend on money. That doesn't depend on people. That's the kind of freedom that stays. That stays. That's loyalty. So yeah, if I told you that what the world calls freedom isn't real freedom, would you feel some type of way? Or would you be willing to rethink what freedom actually means? Because once you experience God's peace for real, you won't want anything else. And that's facts. If this episode spoke to you in a way, I just want to encourage you to sit with it. Don't rush past this. Ask yourself honestly, am I really free? Like Zaria, are you really free? I gotta ask myself, am I really free? I'm still being worked on. Worked on for sure. Not based on what it looks like, but based on how you feel inside. Like ask yourself, am I really free? Not based on what it looks like, but based on how you feel inside. You can look put together on the outside, but the inside you just feel terrible. It's good to put on a mask on the outside to have people to look, oh, they got it all together, but inside is just rots. Rots. Piece of rots. You know what I'm saying? Man, like, y'all, it's Jesus is the way, for sure. Jesus is the way. Jesus is the way. Jesus is the way. And if you've been chasing things that haven't been fulfilling you, maybe it's time to shift your focus. Seriously. I had Bible study with my brothers and sisters last night, and we was in Jeremiah 2:3-2, and it was just like it was just like explaining, like getting back to God, like get back to how we first loved God, how we first, start walking with God. That's why I say going back to the basics. Going back to the basics. Because there's clarity there. Like getting back to God, you know? We have to shift our focus back to God, back to peace, back to what actually matters. If you enjoyed, living a life of freedom that you thought was freedom, then once that freedom that you thought was freedom crashes, everything that you were feeling inside that you was keeping hidden will expose itself externally. And you just looking back like, man, you can't look to the left or the right. You're back against the wall, and it's like, who do you call on? Nobody, your family not there to help you. Your friends not there to help you. They don't know the answers. You know what I'm saying? All they know is, let's put half to this bag. All they know is just, let's figure it out, on your own. But God, when we call out to God, Jesus, He knows. He knows. So yeah, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure you share it with someone who might need this reminder. We all need reminders to get back on track. And as always, we are growing, we are learning, and we are choosing freedom, the real kind of freedom. I love y'all, and I'll talk to you in the next episode. Be blessed. Continue to honor the Lord, and continue to just walk in your freedom. It's freedom out there, y'all. So God bless. I'm thankful to be alive, and I pray that you are thankful to be alive as well. See you guys. Thank you.
JP.
Staying close to God, I'm staying faithful, cause He the only one got me out darkness. Staying close to God, I'm staying faithful, cause He the only one got me out darkness. I know how it feels to be in pain. I know how it feels to cry in the rain. I know how it feels you wanna give up. And I know how it feels you showing love. I know how it feels when you can't trust. I know how it feels when you get judged by the people that don't understand. Just keep on showing up. Keep your focus on Jesus. You gon' see your life get brighter. Gotta keep going, gotta keep moving, don't ever switch up. Let's see it through, cause you know time don't ever run out. Be careful what you sow, cause it's gon' come back 10 times more. Be careful what you sow, cause it's gon' come back 10 times more. Be careful what you consume, cause what you consume, you produce. Always remember, what you ask for, you reap, and that's facts. Sowing the right seeds, cause we chose to be righteous leaders for God's kingdom. Looking around the world, all you see is hate. You be the light, they appreciate. Focus on Jesus, you gon' see the truth all around you and within you. Never rush your life, cause won't be the same. Looking for answers, Jesus is the way. Jesus is a king. Jesus is the way. Jesus is the king. Yeah, 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 yeah. Jesus is the only way for real. Let's go.
JP.